Happy Father's Day, Optimus. You really taught me a lot. What? I know it's a day late. I scripted this, so I might as well do the skit. Whatever, let's talk about E3. Hello, my fellow geeks and gamers. It is Director Noah of Agents of Geek coming at you with the second episode. So, let's talk about E3 2015. Now, a lot of people have been claiming this to be the best E3 ever, but honestly, I just thought it was alright. Not to say that there haven't been a lot of good things, but there was just, well, it was just another E3, really. Let's start off with Microsoft. Now, thankfully, the Xbox One is making some good strides towards becoming a more viable console, which could probably be because it's losing in sales to the PlayStation 4. Well, after the backlash of E3 2011, where they tried the always online connectivity and no use games, how could they not suffer a backlash? But let's move on to the positive. First of all, Xbox 360 games will now be backwards compatible with your Xbox One. So, really, this is a fantastic thing. It's sort of being handled the same way the original Xbox games were handled in regards to backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360. And there will only be so many games, around 100, that will be compatible at the launch of this new feature, but patches and updates to the system will allow for more later on. So that's good. Among the 100 games are, of course, the obvious suspects: Halo, Gears of War, the works, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. So definitely, it's a good thing. I'm glad that Microsoft is finally doing this. And Sony, balls in your court. You better step your game up. Nintendo and now Microsoft both have backwards compatibility. Although interestingly, Nintendo was the only one to have it from the start. Though you did have to download a day one patch to get it, which I really don't agree with, guys. I think backwards compatibility should just be available out of the box, like it was with the PlayStation 2 and the original model of the PlayStation 3, the Nintendo 3DS, etc., etc. I could go on, but I won't. Speaking of Halo and Gears of War, a new Gears of War has been revealed. Now, we don't know when it's coming, and they really didn't show off much that I could see, but new Gears of War for the Xbox One, and it's definitely going to be probably one of the flagship titles for the system. Speaking of which, Halo 5 Guardians is coming. Now, personally, I'll admit I think Halo 4 was alright, but Halo 5 Guardians looks to have a very interesting storyline, and it seems to be portraying Master Chief as sort of a fallen god of sorts, or a fallen hero. And that's really definitely a unique story direction for the franchise to be going. Speaking of games that I hope are good, Mass Effect Andromeda has been revealed. Yes, yes, we all know the ending to Mass Effect 3 was terrible. Terrible. Even the epilogue DLC didn't do much to help. Not much has been revealed about Mass Effect Andromeda, but hopefully it'll be a good game and a worthy successor to the franchise. Rise of the Tomb Raider is coming, the sequel to 2013's reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, which will be exclusive to Xbox One, because I guess Microsoft just paid out the butt to have it as an exclusive. So for all of you PlayStation owners and Wii U owners who are hoping for a Tomb Raider experience now in the next gen, you'll have to go out and pony up for an Xbox One if you really want to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. Sorry. I guess that's just the way exclusivity go. So, let's be honest. Rareware is not what it used to be. Especially after Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Ugh. I did not like that game. But thankfully, Rare is at least somewhat making a comeback with the Rare Replay game. Now, this collection will feature over 30 classic Rareware games. You've got Battletoads, its sequels, you've got Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, the works. A ton of great games from Rareware's past, over 30 different ones. And honestly, this can only be a good thing. I know a lot of old school gamers are probably going to be jumping at the chance for this when it comes to the Xbox One. So I know for a lot of people, this is probably going to be the reason to buy an Xbox One. And of course, yes, it will have the good Perfect Dark. Not that crappy Zero sequel. The good one for N64. But no GoldenEye, because legal troubles. But at least you have the remake on the last gen consoles to play, which will now be backwards compatible on your Xbox One and your Wii U. And finally, Microsoft has announced the release of an Elite controller for the Xbox One, which will cost $150. Am I reading that right? Yeah, I'm reading that right. Wow. That's a lot for a controller, honestly, but I know some people will definitely be willing to pony up the cash for it. And hey, more power to you. If it helps you get the most out of your game, I say go for it. Just make sure you have a well-paying job to make that viable. Now let's move on to Nintendo. Honestly, Nintendo's digital event at the C3 was kind of underwhelming. But then again, last year was going to be a tough act to follow. But let's start off with the announcement that made some people I know literally cry with tears of joy. Earthbound Beginnings is coming to the Wii U Virtual Console. Now, this is the unreleased original Earthbound game that was supposed to come to North America way back during the tail end of the NES era, but never saw the light of day even though it was fully translated and localized. It's been available for many years as both a emulated ROM and a repro card of Earthbound, known as Earthbound Zero, but for people who can't get a hold of either version, this is a great deal. So now we have both the original Earthbound, well, technically the original Earthbound, and then the Super NES Earthbound, which is to many people the original Earthbound because it's the only one that's been released in English up until now. So does this mean we can get Earthbound 3, aka Mother 3? Please, Nintendo? Can we finally get it? Can we do that? I think we're ready. I think we're good. We've been ready for a while. Our bodies have been ready for a while. Now then, how about a whole bunch of Amiibo news? So first up, Yoshi's Woolly World will be compatible with all of your Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, or at least a few select of them, including Fire Emblem, Link, Mario, Samus, and more. Basically what happens is you take the Fire Emblem Amiibo, tap it onto the gamepad, and you get a special woolly Yoshi dressed up in that character's costume. And I gotta say, a lot of them look really cute. Well, Yoshi's Woolly World, in all honesty, is looking to be a pretty adorable game. Now, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer is coming for the 3DS and will feature Amiibo cards. Basically, this is a house decorating game for the 3DS. I don't know if it's going to be a full retail release or download only, but I assume it would be a retail release since they're bringing out the Amiibo cards to support it. Honestly, I'm not really all that excited because basically customizing a house is sort of one of the main features of Animal Crossing, but Nintendo has said that there would not be a new mainline Animal Crossing for quite some time, and especially there wouldn't be one shown at this year's E3, so hey, something's better than nothing. And speaking of which, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is coming for Wii U, and yes, it is basically Mario Party with an Animal Crossing skin, but it could be very fun, and more importantly, you can get a ton of your favorite Animal Crossing characters in Amiibo figure form. KK Slider, Tom Nook, the entire internet's waifu, Isabelle, the works. And, of course, there is a special bundle with Isabelle and Dingy, and it is available for pre-order right now on bestbuy.ca. There will be a link in the description box below. Speaking of Amiibo, I swear this is the last little bit of Amiibo news. Super Mario Maker is coming. This game will allow you to create your own Mario levels and upload them to the world. Catch is, though, you have to be able to beat them yourself before you can put them, so no impossible crazy levels. The game will feature assets from both the original Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And you will be able to use, again, your various Amiibos to basically create 8-bit versions of themselves, such as Link and Samus and even Wii Fit Trainer, who was shown off in the demo, much to my surprise, and have them run around your Mario creations. Also, they're going to release a gigantic 8-bit Mario Amiibo. Seriously, this thing is huge. Wow. But That's just the way it goes. Now let's move on to some actual game news. Fire Emblem If is now been renamed to Fire Emblem Fates for North America and will be coming to 3DS in spring 2016. No, still no word if the game will be split into two versions like the Japanese release or summed down to one complete package for North America, but here's hoping. I don't really know if everybody wants to do a Pokemon thing and pay for two different versions just to get the full story. But also announced for the 3DS is The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, a spiritual successor to the Four Swords sub-series. Except this time it's, well, mostly 3-player from the demo. You and two other friends will be able to join forces and save the land of Hyrule. The game will feature a single-player mode, as well as a heavy focus on multiplayer, both online and in local, download play. However, you will all need a copy of the game to do so. So, honestly, this is pretty fun, and I really can't wait to do some Hyrule questing with my friends. And in addition to that, Hyrule Warriors Legends has been announced for the 3DS. It is a port of Hyrule Warriors from the Wii U, which was released last year, but adds new characters from the Wind Waker, including the ever-popular Pirate Captain Tetra. And the Wind Waker content will serve as an epilogue to the events of the first Hyrule Warriors game, which will basically be available in full on the 3DS version. Albeit, it probably will be slightly scaled down, but that's to be expected when you're porting to a handheld. I'm honestly just happy that we will be getting a version of Hyrule Warriors for the 3DS, as that is the only current system that I own. I'm gonna be getting a Wii U and a PS4, and we'll get to why I need a PS4 later, and why you need a PS4 if you're an RPG fan. Also announced was Metroid Prime Federation Forces for 3DS, a multiplayer shooting game that includes a soccer mini game. Alright, look, I'll be honest with you guys, I was pretty disappointed. I was expecting a full-on mainline Metroid game for the 3DS, starring Samus herself, but this at least shows that Nintendo has not forgotten about the franchise after the disaster that was Other M. Sorry, Other M was good gameplay-wise, but the story was awful. Oh, trust me, Metroid could be a great game with voice acting, but Other M was not the game to do it. Team Ninja. Just stick the Ninja Gaiden in Dead or Alive story-wise. Metroid clearly did not work out. Whew. Oh yeah. But I am not going to say that I want the game to be canceled like some people who started a petition online. I'm not making this up. A petition online to have Metroid Prime Federation Forces canceled. Guys, look. Just because you don't like the game doesn't mean other people won't. You think you're going overboard here. Just calm down. Calm down. Alright. And finally, second to finally, second to last, second to finally, whatever. Skylander Superchargers, the latest in the money-printing Skylander series, will not only feature vehicles, but also Donkey Kong and Bowser figures, which will double as not only Skylanders, but Amiibos. And, of course, it won't be available on the Wii U, and presumably the 3DS if it does come to that system. I don't know. When was the last time a Skylanders game was released for the 3DS? Was it Giants or was it the original? I'm not sure. And, of course, the highlight of Nintendo's press conference, Starfox Zero is coming to the Wii U. We saw a brief glimpse in the background last year, but this year, we got a full-on trailer. And it was beautiful. Among the new features shown are the R-Wing Walker, which was eliminated from Star Fox 2 for the Super Nintendo, which obviously never saw the light of day, but it is available as a repro card and is ROM online, so if you want to play it that way, you can. And, of course, you can fly a Landmaster tank. You can fly a tank. That alone has sold this game for me. And, of course, the Wii U gamepad is being used to its full potential, allowing you to have a first-person cockpit view while you can see the R-Wing flying around in space on television, allowing for more precise combat shooting. Space shooting action. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words because I'm really excited. It's been, let's see, the last main Star Fox game was released in 2006 for Nintendo DS. I'm not counting Star Fox 64 3D because that was a remake, though it is a very good 3DS game. We're finally getting a proper Star Fox. I'm really happy. Now let's talk about the one company that ran away, stole the show, won by a landslide with the amazing flooring presentation. Sony, you are going to need a PS4 after you see this. Trust me. Especially if you are an RPG fan. Let's start off with a little bit of smaller news. Capcom has announced that Cammy and Birdie will be coming to Street Fighter V. Cool, but honestly, Street Fighter V, we know it's probably going to get its big showing at EVO this year, so... Now let's get on to the big news. The Last Guardian, thankfully, is not cancelled, is still in development, and will be coming to the PlayStation 4 now. So, good news for all of you Team Ico fans. Last Guardian is coming, and we are getting it. All our fears can be put to bed. A new Hitman game, simply titled Hitman, or, well, probably that's a working title and it could change, was announced, and the trailer shown off was very, very nice. It is pre-rendered footage, obviously. I don't doubt that any of that was really in-game, considering that some shots in that trailer actually fooled me for being in live action at first, but once you actually see the up-close character models, you can tell that it's still game polygons. Now, gameplay from a new title called No Man's Sky was shown. This game is interesting as it focuses on space exploration, and each blip on the map is apparently its own entire galaxy. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical because, honestly, I've heard these kinds of promises before, and they haven't turned out well. See Peter Molyneux's promises about the first Fable game back in 2004, I believe. But this is a very interesting gameplay concept, and I'm always up for some good sci-fi exploring times. So hopefully, when we do finally see No Man's Sky on consoles, it will live up to its promises. So Mirror's Edge 2 Catalyst is coming. The trailer was shown, and it looked very much great. Now, the first Mirror's Edge was a first-person platformer, and this one is very much the same, with a lot more parkour and free-running, and some more combat. Now, it took a while for me to get used to the first Mirror's Edge, but I know it definitely is an interesting concept, and hopefully they've ironed out all the bugs this time. Speaking of bugs, Ubisoft showed off a new trailer for Assassin's Creed Syndicate set in Victorian London, featuring new stuff such as, well, more gun gameplay and an underground fight ring, as well as two playable characters, I believe, one male and one female. They are siblings. No actual gameplay footage shown yet, but it does look promising, and hopefully they will iron out all the bugs at launch. We don't want another Unity Day 1 incident, do we, Ubisoft? Doom 4, baby! Doom is back. id Software is pulled out all the stops, and man, gore aplenty. This game looks like a ton of bloody fun. Personally, I cannot wait. Now, more gameplay of Fallout 4 was shown, including character creation, and so Call of Duty Black Ops 3 has been announced, and it will be a PlayStation 4 exclusive. So sorry, Xbox One fans. If you want the newest Black Ops game, you're going to have to jump ship to PlayStation. Wow, Tomb Raider is going to Xbox, Call of Duty is going to PS4. People are really paying for exclusivity here. Sorry, my throat gets dry when I'm doing all this talking at once. Now, let's get on to the big announcement. Star Wars Battlefront. We finally got gameplay footage. Not just from one side, but from all sides. We got to see you fight as the Rebels, as the Empire, and even as Darth Vader. Guys, I don't get emotional very often, but that trailer was a work of beauty. I loved it. I am so excited to jump back into the world of Battlefront, even though this is technically Battlefront 3. But hey, what are you going to do? EA, DICE, I'm glad to see that you're taking this seriously and you're giving us what looks to be a solid game. Keep in mind, this footage is apparently all in-engine, in-game. None of this was pre-rendered. And I'll be honest, some of the screenshots still shown look like scenes from the original movies. It's that good. Between this and The Force Awakens, Star Wars nerd in me is coming back. It's been dormant for so long, but now it's re-emerging. I don't know why it sounds like Emperor Palpatine on meth. Anyway, Shenmue 3 is coming. Finally, the long-awaited conclusion to this Shenmue story is coming. The Kickstarter was announced at E3, small bits of gameplay were shown off, and it reached its goal, and then some within an hour of the announcement. Sony is helping to fund the game, get it on their system. It will be a PS4 exclusive. Shenmue 3, guys. It finally happened. Your prayers have been answered by the gaming gods! And the fans rejoice. And the fans also rejoiced at the new gameplay footage of Kingdom Hearts 3. Thankfully, this will be coming to both PS4 and Xbox One, so if you haven't experienced the Kingdom Hearts franchise, you should probably get yourself caught up by visiting the Kingdom Hearts wiki if you're an Xbox One player, or go back and replay, or back, even if you are an Xbox One player, go back, buy the older games, play through them. You're going to have a lot of time to do so. Trust me, this game won't be here for a while. And then jump straight into Kingdom Hearts 3 because it looks amazing, and honestly, I'm really excited. I've been waiting years for this game, since 2005. There have been spin-offs, remixes, and one true advancement in the story. And now we're finally getting the third chapter. Plus, the world of Tangled is going to be in this. So guess what? Frying Pan Keyblade. Make it happen, Square. I want it. Because frying pans are extremely effective as weapons, as proven by Tangled. And now, probably the biggest news of this E3. Final Fantasy VII is being remade from the ground up in HD for the PlayStation 4. After all the years, close to a decade of teasing since the first tech demo of E3 2006, Final Fantasy VII HD is happening. Now call it what you will, call it a cash grab, call it nostalgia, just trying to drill into that classic vein and just pull out the blood money. But it's happening. Whether you love the game or hate it, this is happening. Just think about it. We're going to see so much in HD for the first time with this game. We're going to see the opening, just one of the greatest openings to any RPG. We're going to see the limit breaks. We're going to see the final battle. We're going to see Genova. We're going to see Aeris' sad death. By the way, Square Enix, I'm just going to say this. If you give us, like, even the option to have Aeris, you know, like, live, like, even in, like a New Game Plus kind of thing, I will personally come down to your office in Japan and hug every one of your employees. Just putting it out there. But we're going to see, we're going to see the Honeybee Inn scene in 3 in HD. We're going to see Cloud Cross dressed in HD, folks. That's going to be hilarious. Come on, you kidding? I'm going to see all the hilarious results in my head right now. Plus, we're going to get to see Tifa's boobs in 3D and in HD, and that's just going to be fantastic. Just fantastic. I can't wait. Final Fantasy VII HD, everybody. Finally happened. It's amazing. Earthbound 0 is coming to a console. Final Fantasy VII HD is happening. Shenmue 3 is happening. The Last Guardian is still coming. The greatest games of Rareware's history are being released in one collection. And we're getting a new Starfox. This may not be the best E3. I think that still belongs to E3 2010, honestly. But it was a pretty darn good one. This is Director Noah, Agents of Geek. Until next time, game on.